The Rule of Three, Chapter 3. Rachel and Danny followed me out the doors of their school. The principal had been thrilled to have me take them. He had hundreds of kids with no school buses and almost nobody to pick them up. Taking 2 fourth graders off his hands made his job that much easier. The kids were still thinking it all had to do with the power going off. I was positive the power going off wasn't the cause of the problem, but the result of the problem. "I hope everything is still blacked out tomorrow," Danny said. "It would be sort of like a snow day without all the snow." I laughed. Maybe it really was nothing serious, and I was overthinking all of this, and it would be fixed in a few hours. That made sense. Power failures happened, and then things were repaired. That's how it worked. Except then, when the lights went out, there usually was a storm or something knocking down power lines and causing outages. I also knew this was more than just about the power, but I didn't say anything. There was no point in worrying the twins by opening up questions when I didn't have answers. "Our teacher told us about a blackout that hit the eastern half of North America a few years ago," Danny said. "I kind of remember that," Laurie said. "It was freaky and a little bit scary." "You have me and Adam, so there's nothing to be scared of," Todd said. Scared?" Danny asked. "Who taught you how to talk?" "Great. I'm being disrespected by a 4th grader," Todd said. "A smart 4th grader," Danny said. Rachel laughed. "Not that smart." "Do you think this blackout could be that big?" Danny asked me. "I'm not sure about anything," I said. "Our teacher said that it took 3 days to fix that big one. Maybe there won't be school for the rest of the week," Danny said. "Wouldn't that be amazing?" "That would be amazing," Todd agreed. Nothing could be more amazing than what we were witnessing. People had started to abandon their vehicles as they realized that they weren't going to start up, that there was no way to call for help, and that even if they could make a call, there was nobody to help them since the emergency vehicles would be stalled too. People who would have been sitting in their cars were on their feet walking. This was strange to see because nobody in our suburbs ever really walked anywhere. There were streams of people hiking down the middle of the street, more obstacles in my way. Most people just looked at us, but others waved, and a couple stuck out their thumbs to try to hitch a ride from us. "There's another car!" Danny screamed. Another old junker was coming toward us. The driver leaned out his window and waved to us. As he came to a stop, I pulled up beside him and halted when we were window to window. "Old car," I said, pointing out his vehicle. We're the only things that seem to be running. "How far have you come?" he asked. "Only a couple of miles." "And it is like this all over?" he asked. "As far as we've seen." "Where are you coming from?" "Milton. I've been driving for 30 miles, and it's like this everywhere I've passed through. I figure the only way my wife is getting home from work is if I get her." "She's one of the lucky ones who will get a ride home," I said. "Be careful." He gave me a strange look. You know, drive carefully. There's so many abandoned cars," I said. But that wasn't what I'd meant, and I think he knew it. I had an uneasy feeling about the way people had been looking at us as we passed. There was something in their eyes, especially the last guy who tried to wave us down. He looked angry when I didn't stop. The other driver headed off in one direction, and we drove in the other. "How are people going to get home?" Todd asked. "I guess they're going to have to walk." "Where's Dad?" Rachel asked. In the rush of everything, I hadn't even thought of that. I looked at my watch and did a quick transposing of time. "He's halfway across the country, on the ground in Chicago. His flight isn't scheduled to leave for another hour." "So he's okay, right?" Rachel asked. "Of course he's okay. He's millions of miles away," Danny said. "Probably none of this is even happening there." "I'm sure he's good," I said. "You know Dad. Nothing phases him. He's probably just worried about how we're doing." We continued driving, leaving the last of the houses behind. Laurie lived on one of the few remaining little farms on the edge of our suburbs. I'd seen more and more of those farms turned into new subdivisions. I figured it wouldn't be long before her farm was gone too. "You live way out here?" Danny asked. "It isn't that far. My family's been there forever. It's the farm where my father and his father were born." "What's it like to live on a farm?" Rachel asked. "I love it. We have lots of space and cows and horses and—" "You have horses?" Rachel asked. "3. I love horses." "Then you have to come and ride sometime." "Could I do it today?" "Not today," I said before Laurie could answer. "We need to get home." "But today is the perfect day," Rachel said. "It's not like we can watch TV when we get home." "Another day," Laurie said. She turned to me. "Your sister is adorable. You have to promise you'll bring her back." "If he won't, I'm sure my mother will," Rachel said. "No, I'll do it," I said, cutting her off. Todd started chuckling from the back seat. He knew what I was thinking. "There's my dad," Laurie said. In the middle of a big field alongside the road was a man on a tractor pulling a plow. Trailing behind the machines, landing in the newly turned ground, a flock of gulls gobbled up whatever grubs were being unearthed by the plow. Then I realized that the tractor was functioning. I guessed it was an old tractor. We turned up the dirt lane leading to the farmhouse. It was a bumpy, pothole-filled ride, and I slowed down dramatically to stop from bottoming out. My suspension wasn't that great at the best of times, and with this many people in the car, it was much more of a problem. I had already felt the extra weight in the turns, and acceleration had been even slower than usual. Todd always joked that my car could go from 0 to 60 in under 10 minutes. I stopped at the end of the lane. As Laurie climbed out, I put the car in park, but I didn't turn it off. I just didn't want to risk it not starting again. "The tractor your father is driving, is it old?" I asked. "Really old. He doesn't trust new ones when old still works." My theory was holding up. "Thanks for driving me home, Adam," Laurie said. She touched my arm lightly, which sent an electrical charge through me. At least that power grid was operational. No problem. So I guess we better get going." "But you are coming back, right?" Laurie said. "You know, for Rachel to ride a horse. You could even join us." "I could do that. See you later." With the twins and Todd shouting back and forth to see who could say the loudest goodbye to Laurie, I gave her a final wave and then turned the car around and went back up the lane. When I got to the road, I stopped and instinctively looked both ways for traffic that wasn't coming. "I still don't know why I couldn't go riding today," Rachel said. Not today, kid. Maybe I could bring you back tomorrow. You don't even like horses, Danny said. It isn't Laurie's horses that he's interested in, Todd said. Shut up, Todd, I warned. Is that any way to talk to your best friend who arranged for Laurie to even be in the car to begin with? He asked. Rather than saying, shut up, Todd, shouldn't you be saying, thank you, Todd? I took a deep breath. Thank you, Todd. Now, was that so hard? Todd asked. It's no wonder that I find you so adorable.